All right, let's get right into it.
Coop's Confession.
The American Society of Magical Negroes. This movie stars Justice Smith, sorry, a young man who is recruited into a secret society of magical black people who dedicate their lives to making white people's lives easier. Throughout the movie, Aaron starts to question what's the point of having uh, magical powers to do something that he's felt like he's had to do his whole life, which is make white people's lives easier or make them feel comfortable. Um, this movie is directed by Kobi Libii. I don't know much about him. He's a comedian. I've seen a few sketches he's had on Comedy Central. This movie also stars the legendary David Allen Grier, um, and also Anna Lee Bogan. She's the love interest in this movie. I believe this is her first movie. And you have Drew Taver, who is the white guy that Justice character is serving. Uh, this movie's trash, and I don't want to sound so like harsh about it because I do appreciate the creativity of this movie. I appreciate the original idea. It's not a remake, a reboot. It doesn't remind you of anything. It's a to me, it's somewhat of a social thriller and kind of like a Get Out movie. And I like movies where it's like only a group of us can really understand how this movie feels. But then again, this is like a movie that's not necessarily needed for us for the understanding of why we feel uncomfortable around white people, or what we have to do to make them feel comfortable, so bad things don't happen in the world. um it's it feels like it's like one of those, it's like a slave movie where it's like you don't it's not necessarily for black folks because we already know and understand our struggle, our history in our past. It's more for white folks, for them to see it, for them to understand. Um, because throughout this movie, I just couldn't shake. Even when they were trying to explain it, even when the big moment happened where everyone starts to explain themselves and there's a whole speech behind it, it's just like, yeah, but why? It's just I believe the main issue with this movie is the title. When you see a title of the American Society of Magical Negroes, the last thing that we're thinking about doing with our powers is helping white folks with it, you know? And it's like that plays a big part of the movie of like, you can't be selfish with your powers. But it's like, what's the point of having powers? Of course, some people are going to be a little selfish with it, And I in the beginning, I was a little okay. I was a little okay with it in the beginning. It was kind of giving a little bit of Hogwarts vibes to it. It was cool. But then, like, even how they gotta get into the society, it's like the actual society, is in a barbershop where there's like a latch door, not even a door, like a small window that they gotta climb through. So it looks like they're breaking into their own society. But we magical, right? We magical, but this is how we got to get into our own society. And then, like, there's not a lot of magic in the movie either. And I know this is not like the main point of the movie, but like that's what I'm saying. Like, don't call it this. Don't call it the American Society of Magical Negroes, where this is where we got to help out white people. That's the only way we can use our powers. Or like, it's a lot. It's just I don't know what this movie should be called, but it shouldn't be called this, because exactly what you see in the trailer is exactly the movie. There's nothing really different about it, and it's trash to me. Um, the actors in this movie did really well. I don't have an issue with how it was shot, how the actors were. Um, Even the score in this movie was really good. It's just the idea of this movie is not good. It almost feels like this movie was like slightly whitewashed. Like, and when I say that, it's like someone came into the studio and was like, "I got this great idea for a movie for like magical, black folks, and this is how we live our lives." And then like someone was like, but what about the white people? How do we serve? How do they fit in the movie? How do we serve them in the movie? Like that's what I feel like this movie. It was something, but now it's not. But this movie has no replay value. I don't see anybody playing this movie. The subject may have, is talked about a lot. How people feel like they need to go out their way, or how black people feel like they need to go out their way to make white people feel comfortable, just so we can live a normal life. But if I got powers, man, like then what? Like I'm not doing that. It doesn't make sense. And you got to call this movie something else because this isn't it. It's not. So it's a trash rating. I'm sorry. Look, I supported the black movie, and like I said, I appreciate the creativity and the idea of it, but like this just wasn't. It wasn't for me. This movie wasn't for me. So, have you seen the American Society of Magical Negroes? Have you seen this movie? What did you think? Leave a comment below. Um, this I don't know, man. Like, do something else. Come up with something different. Like, it just wasn't it. It wasn't it at all. But I appreciate you guys watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Coop's Confession.